Hello, guys. Welcome back to another podcast, episode 2 of today's episode. We're going to talk about self-confidence with this one. I'm very, very excited for this one. If you guys enjoyed the last podcast topic, we talked about running. And I really love that topic because I started to run. Everyone's telling me I've gotten skinnier, but that's not what we're talking about today. So happy Monday, happy August. It is August 3rd. July was a really fun month. I really enjoyed July. August is here. We have about 4 months till Christmas and 5 more months to 2027. But let's get started on the podcast. Like and subscribe if you are enjoying this podcast. But let's get started. So we're going to be talking about self-confidence. I think the reason why we should talk about this is because 2026 we want to lock in, and there's a few suggestions that we talk about when it comes down to this, because as adults we are old enough to do this stuff. But let's go to the first slide. I made a Google slide to prepare for this yesterday, and I want to record it. But let's get started. So, what is self-confidence exactly? Here, let me move my cam. I'm going to make my cam right here so we can read this. Self-confidence is how your attitude is when you're handling things. For example, being confident in yourself, fixing your mistakes, having an identity, having a positive attitude, and then stand yourself. We're going to explain each one. So, self-confidence is how you handle things. So, how do you respond to self-confidence? Do you handle it by being positive, by giving negativity and breaking yourself down? But let me explain all these. Being confident is key to succeeding in life, and I really think that a lot of us don't really believe in ourselves, despite the struggles and stuff. I feel like no matter what, we still don't have faith in ourselves, even if others are uplifting us. I genuinely feel like we don't have it. We feel like that we are failures. But if you're going to go to a career path, I want to make sure that you guys enjoy it. Like Alyssa Liu said that she enjoys skating, and despite the mistakes she makes, she knows she's going to get back up on her feet. And this is what being confident is. And that goes to our next one, fixing errors or mistakes. You're going to be making mistakes in processes, and we just have to live with that. Like LeBron James has once said, that you cannot be scared of fear in order to succeed. As much as a Warriors fan, as a Curry fan, I can agree with LeBron says. I respect the dude at the end of the day. But yeah, like I said, if we do not fix our mistakes, if we just lay in our own beds, if we sit on bed and we lay in it, you're going to have those mistakes be in your mind all the time. And this is not really good. These two are very important. The next one is having an identity. So just be sure you set a realistic goal and show yourself, express yourself, tell yourself to others. Tell your ideas to others about what you want to achieve in life and how you're going to get to the top. I will say this, anything is possible as long as you put your mind into it. But you can't just say, oh, I'm going to get to the top if you don't actually do it, But I have faith in everyone in life. My thing is, I work with a lot of people, and I think anything is possible. The only thing is they don't put their minds into it. They're not motivated. They don't feel ready, which is honestly, it's fair enough to not be ready in certain situations. We're scared. It's okay to be scared of mistakes, but at the same time, think about this. If you don't go through the hard, how are you going to get to the top? You have to face challenges in life, and that's all you have to do. I know there's a difference between staying positive, which is we're going to talk about next in a sec. Like staying positive and confidence is key, yeah, and then oh, but I failed. But just think about there's people that have failed worse than you, and that you're getting an education. Think about your life. You have a house, you have a computer. Let's go through my perspective. I have a computer, I have a phone. I have a bed right here. I have some Funko Pops. I have my Yeti mic. I have, my graphic designing. I have, a lot of things. I'm live in a great area. I love the Bay Area, but my point is that you gotta trust. You gotta trust in yourself, and that's why having a positive attitude is. If you have a positive attitude, your mindset is gonna not be scared of those challenges. It's like defeating a monster. You have to strategize and be like, okay, I'm not afraid to challenge it. That's exactly what I'm trying to bring up. That you have to defeat the guards. It's like defeating a bodyguard. If you want to get past something, you have to get past the guards. If you see in movies, when you have the stormtroopers in Star Wars, when you go to... So let's say we're in a Star Wars universe, and we're going to go invade Kylo Ren's base. How are you going to get to Kylo Ren? You have to take down the stormtroopers, the TIE fighters. You have to take down all of that. And then, guess what? You get there, and then defeating Kylo, it takes a team effort, obviously. But let's move on. Before we get into the next topic, the next last point of this slide is studying yourself. I think this one is my favorite because people have asked me, how are you so positive, having a healthy life? How do you know yourself? Well, you gotta know yourself as a person, first off. So if I go for a job interview, let's say I go in for Safeway. If I have a job interview for Safeway, I gotta say to myself, do I want to do this job? Am I fit for it? Am I gonna be able to handle the pressure? Am I going to be really friendly to all the customers? Maybe it seems to my coworkers, the boss, the manager. Am I going to have a positive attitude? You got to study that for yourself. You can't just be like, hey, Mom, am I fit enough to be in here? I know parents know you well, too, but you got to know your identity as well. We're all adults. I know most of us are all grown now, 18, 21, or, whatever. But... yeah, this is the first point of what self-confidence is. The next one is, we're going to go on to the next one, is how does self-confidence work? Well, like I said, building trust is the first point, because if you don't build trust in yourself and you expect others to uplift and motivate you, how are you going to learn about how you can adjust in life? Self-confidence doesn't have to do with just jobs or with any small situation. It happens as adults, and we're mature enough to understand what our weaknesses are, what empathy we have in our souls, and that's what we got to realize. 2 is being positive. Obviously, despite the struggles, we should not give up and keep our heads up. Like I said, you're going to be making mistakes, and you can't just let one mistake hit you. I know sometimes we get sad and we want to always be correct, but that's not the thing. If you expect yourself to be correct all the time, that's not good. It can affect your mental health, and this is something that, you're not going to get what you want in life. You just have to just build the trust. It's like a test, right? Let's say it's out of 50 points and I get 46 out of 50. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's better than getting an F. And that goes for the same thing as being positive. You may not have a mansion, you may not have a rich house, but you have somewhere to stay in. There's people on the streets, there's people that have a worse life than us. That's what we got to realize and be grateful for. And the last thing is, pick a career path you enjoy. If you're setting a goal, make sure you enjoy the hobby. Like I said, I love many things. I love basketball, graphic designing. I really love my photography, hanging out with my friends. But that's not a career. Okay, so let's say I wanted to do engineering for a career. But I got to think about the pros and cons. I got to think about, is it stressful? Do I love it? Is there a lot of calculation that I have to do into this? You got to do your research and think about it as if, do you really love this? Are you going to be doing this for a couple of years, maybe a couple of months? I mean, you don't know. We don't know Exactly. You don't know how long you're going to do it for. It just all depends on yourself. That's what you got to say to yourself. How do we practice self-confidence? Now, this one is interesting. This is a good one, honestly. I should have put a question mark, but whatever. Set goals for ourselves, knowing we're going to make mistakes, not letting other people affect us, being consistent about what you want to accomplish. Let's explain all four. Let's start with setting goals for ourselves. Journaling, I've noticed for Gen Zs or this year, is like very important, and people are using it for college, for work, or just for journaling, like diaries in general. So that's another reason why you need to study yourself. If you don't set a goal for yourself, if you don't write any goals down, how are you going to know what you want to accomplish? How are you going to know what you want to accomplish in life? You're not going to know by the time of that. Knowing you're going to be making mistakes in process. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter. Like, no one is perfect here. You're going to make mistakes regardless. Whether if you're smart, whether if you know something, we all make mistakes as humans, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like, oh, this person is stupid because they're making mistakes. Here's the thing. When people make mistakes, they get smarter later on because they not challenge themselves, but they take notes from the teacher, the professor. They start to get a better understanding about what the teacher is trying to explain, what we want to accomplish in life. And that goes to our next one, not letting others affect us. There are some people that are going to bring you down. They think that because of disability or because they don't picture you fitting for this job. Accomplish what you want to accomplish. That goes for the next topic. I'm just going to combine them two. Don't let others affect you. Follow whatever your heart desires. If you want to be an engineer, go ahead. But if you thought about it, you don't want to be an engineer anymore and you want to be a firefighter, sure, no one's stopping you. It's about you. It's not about others. If they're like, hey, become a police officer instead, they pay more, it's a better job than boring firefighters. Okay, who cares of what they say? That's an opinion. There's a difference between opinions and a fact. A fact is something that is recorded by scientists that are true. An opinion is not a fact. An opinion is getting someone else's perspective about what they think on stuff. And that is what a fact and an opinion is, the difference. The next one we're talking about is, highlighting the issues. What are the issues with self-confidence? We are going to explain on this one. Let's see. Putting ourselves down, facing challenges, comparing ourselves to others, and not having the right mindset. Okay, this is true. Whether or not you don't believe me, this is true. Here's why. We beat ourselves down. We don't want to get better. Okay, I'm not going for anyone's heads on this. We don't want to get better. We just think that we have to get back up on our feet. Yes, you do. But you got to try harder. Why do you think sport athletes are so good at sports? They get back up. For example, Steph Curry, he's a great shooter, but do you think Steph just chucks shots and, he's a good shooter. Steph actually practices during the off season and stuff. And that's why Steph's one of the greatest players in the NBA to ever exist. And it goes for when you beat yourself down, you lose faith in yourself. And I don't think we need to beat ourselves on this. Facing challenges. Yes, you're going to have to face the hard. But that's how you get to the top. Not everything's going to be a walking piece of cake. We got to realize and understand that life gets harder when you get older. And it's true. That's why I miss being a kid in elementary school, back when times were more simple. I'm pretty sure most of us Gen Zs understand that feeling. But that's what school is for. School's to get you prepared and everything, and that's what we have to use it for. Comparing ourselves to others. I think this one, is a good mindset and a good key factor that I think we all struggle on. Because we compare. What I mean by comparing ourselves to others is we're like, oh, why is Luka Doncic such a better shooter than me? How is Zion Williamson such a good dunker? Why is Deebo Samuel such a good receiver? Why is Jackson Dart such a good quarterback? Well, they don't do any of this. They lock in. They're in the gym every day or once in a while. They actually work their butts off. If you don't work your butt off and you just keep saying, I'm going to get better, but you don't actually put in the work, you're not going to get better. Your mindset is going to get more down. You're going to overstimulate yourself. And that's why you got to have the right mentality. Kobe Bryant is a prime example to what having a great mentality is. Because Kobe would always work his butt off at 5 a.m. in the morning. He was ready to go. And Kobe Bryant is such a great impact. RIP to Kobe. Just want to send my condolences to him. Always, as a Warriors fan, I really respect the heck out of Kobe. Especially, not just for his play style, but just like his workout in general. But anyways, we're going to show some examples of self-confidence, conquering your fear or weakness. In life, we have to conquer our fears. I know sometimes we get afraid to conquer our fear, but that's how you know. I'm a guy who doesn't like roller coasters, but eventually it does become fun. But, you feel better. You're like, oh my god, that was actually not that bad. That was actually fun. Can we go again? Like, it's a lot of fun. Uplifting yourself is one you need to do. Staying positive and believing no matter what happens to you. It is true. You do gotta believe in yourself, but don't expect everyone to start uplifting you. It comes with yourself. It comes with discipline. How do you think people are so locked in the gym? They discipline themselves. They don't be like, hey, Josh, I need you to take me to the gym. I need you to be my trainer. They don't have time. What if Josh has work? Or he has to take care of other things. I can't rely on Josh. Like, expressing yourself. You are not shy to be honest with yourself by asking questions or sharing your ideas. So, what expressing yourself is I learned this too. You don't have to. You gotta open up to yourself eventually. It's like asking a question, right? We all ask questions to our parents, to our friends, to our staff, teachers, professors, boss, manager. It's okay to ask questions because that's a learning experience. It's a learning experience. And I completely understand that exact feeling. And we all are trying to get a better understanding of each other. I completely understand that. But if we don't ask questions and you don't open up, who's going to help you out? You know what I mean? You can't just dig a deeper hole and get yourself in a deep spiral. That's what causes overstimulation. Next one is solutions, is the next thing we're going to be talking about. Focus on the goals you can do first. Don't overthink. Saying no is okay, and then you got to follow your own path. Let's explain all four. Focusing on your goals. So, if you have a lot of goals you want to set the goal that is the most easiest out of all. So, let's take a scenario on sports. So, let's say basketball, soccer, football, and volleyball. So, which one has you gotta ask yourself, which one has the best mentality, can make me work harder, less pressure on myself? It just depends on your mindset. Every mindset is different from each other's, and we got to think of that. Just because someone's uplifting themselves, but you're not, doesn't mean you have to be like them. Overthinking, I'm not going to explain that one too much. Just don't overthink the situation and just do whatever helps you best. No one's perfect. Not every goal is going to be perfect, but that's fine. Knowing you can always say no to things. You can deny something. That's what we have to understand. If you are getting asked, do you want to become a doctor? But then you said yes by accident, but then you had instant regret. You got to be careful what you wish for. You got to be careful what you say yes and no to. What I do is if I get into something, I look at the pros and cons, and the cons like have me thinking, oh, I kind of don't want to do it anymore. But, things come with a twist. That's what we got to understand. Things come with a twist in life. And that's just part of being an adult. There's nothing you can do to make it disappear like magic. And then follow your own path. So, what this one is, follow your own path. Do not follow others. If you want to become a basketball player, go to that path. There's no one stopping you. And who cares if someone tells you you're not fit to be a basketball player? You gotta try harder. You can't just let someone beat you down and just be like, you know what, they're right, I'm not good at basketball. That is not the right mentality. Kobe Bryant would never have that mentality. He'd be like, okay, you know what, you want to say that about me? Okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna get in the gym. I'm gonna win a championship and stuff. Like, Steph Curry has the right attitude. Like, these NBA players have good attitude, and that's why they made it to the NBA and why they're so good. All right, we're going to be talking about the benefits of self-confidence, just basically the positivity. Gaining confidence in yourself, you start having faith and believe more often. When you conquer your fear and you see yourself making really, really good improvements, that shows that you are showing self-confidence not just to yourself but to others. If others notice, if others are telling you, oh my god, you can actually express yourselves to me. That's what I like. I have friends that always reach out to me. I always tell people, if you are sad or you want to chat about anything, if you're struggling, go ahead and give me a call or text me and stuff. I have my friends, they text me. One of them had, I'm not gonna explain what happened this one time, but because that's private information, I like to keep that private. But one of my friends called me because they were feeling a little bit down, and they said me talking to them felt better. I like it when people open up and they gain confidence, because then I can give advice to them. It may not be perfect, but it's better than nothing. You're at least being there for them. Even though sometimes you may be like, oh, I don't know what to tell you. That's fine. You're not always going to get a solution to things. And that's what we need to understand as humans. The second thing is, you're ready to challenge yourself. This is exactly what I just explained. When you know yourself as a person and you studied yourself, you know that, oh, I'm ready. I'm actually boosting confidence. Okay, so what if there's challenges? I'm going to face my fear. That's what my English teacher in high school actually taught me, and I'm just like so glad that he actually taught me that, because after high school, that's where the adulthood starts and everything. And then the third one is fixing mental health. There is no such things as stress, just fixing and being potential. If anybody has, to those of you who are watching right now that have like any bad mental health, I'm just so sorry for you. But self-confidence helps with mental health. It actually does improve mental health, because you're starting to not be shy anymore, and you're opening up to your family, to your friends, to your staff, managers, whoever. That's improvement, that you are getting better, and I love that. Quotes about self-confidence. We are going to be talking about this one. Know who you are first, then adore yourself. Sorry guys if that spelling is wrong, I'm so sorry. Study yourself first and know who you are as a person before deciding something. If you're going to be satisfied about a career, if you are satisfied that you became an engineer, you got your first job, you got to know yourself as a person, study yourself, and know that, oh, I am Trevin, and I am a person who is very confident and stuff, that I'm glad I got to the top, and I'm so glad. The next one is, you can't hate yourself because of changes. As we grow older, we have to accept changes, and adulthood is going to hit us at some point. Look, life isn't fair. It is not your fault that there's changes in life. if I was going to move to a different state, that's not my fault. It's okay to be sad. There's going to be sad things in life. But it is not my control that if I had to move to a different state. It's like the weather, right? We don't know when it's going to be sunny. We don't know when it's going to be like cold weather. God decides that. It's not us. And whatever God decides, we can't change it. We can't flip the script. The last one is, we're all about progress, not perfection. No one is perfect, and results come with time and patience. This is another one. I think these two are very, very important. You know, you're not going to be perfect. No one's perfect. And you're not going to get to the top right away. It comes with timing and perfection. No one is going to get to the top the next day. It's going to take years, months. But if you expect yourself to get better, you got to make a change. You got to change yourself. If your mindset is not there, you really got to actually change yourself. I'm being serious about this, by the way. Okay, the next one is steps to building self-confidence. This one actually is a good topic about this one. Have a positive attitude and mindset. It comes with having the right mentality when it comes down to stuff like this. And I know we're all different from each other, and we don't gain confidence right away. But if we keep beating ourselves and we think that, oh, I'm stupid, blah, blah, blah. You're not stupid. No one's smart. No one's perfect. But the way you approach things, what I just explained on the first slide, self-confidence is how you approach a challenge, is basically what that is. And as long as you have a positive mindset, or you understand that, okay, I'm going to make mistakes, or I'm like, okay, I made a few mistakes, I can fix that. It's okay to be reminded, even if you know something, it's okay to be reminded that you made a mistake. And there's nothing wrong with that. Write down what you want to achieve in life. This is basically just setting goals, and focus on whatever you want to achieve first. Then go on that. Do the hard ones last. It's like a teacher says on a test or on a homework assignment. Do whichever page is the easiest and go back to the hardest later. The third one is ask questions. Of course you got to ask questions. The only ones who don't have to ask questions is managers and bosses. But I'm pretty sure they do ask questions. Everyone asks questions, not just us. Children, adults, college students, obviously. Pretty sure we know this. And then the last one is, okay, the next one is ways to calm yourself. Knowing you're not perfect. I know this one is very hard for some people, but that is also how you gain confidence. That is how we, as humans, start to have faith. If you have people who have faith in you, then you should have confidence in yourself. Regarding, yes, stuff's going to be hard, but why do you think being a pharmacist, a doctor, a nurse is very hard? Because it's a lot of studying and stuff. Economics is hard. Being a judge is not easy, and a lawyer. You're gonna have to face challenges in life. With my graphic designing, I have to face challenges like copyright reasons. With photography, criticism. But yeah, that's what number one. Number two, listening to music. Music is key to everything. And I really think music has changed so much in our generation. I'm gonna do a podcast episode on music eventually. I think that's a good topic. I'll let you guys know when I release it, or you guys will see it on my channel. But music calms the nerves. There's a lot of studying. There's a lot of articles on Instagram that music does improve mental health. That is true. It just depends what music you listen to as well. And we all can't live without music. It's a universal thing, and it's normal. All of us need music in life. Sometimes I even can't handle music. I don't need to listen to music all the time. It just depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm tired, yes, I'll need it. But if I'm just fine, there's sometimes I won't need music. going outside is another thing. Going outside is another thing that improves mental health and that helps you get self-confidence, because when you go outside, you feel a breeze in your body. You feel like you've changed. You feel like you're a different person. You can breathe God's air. And God, like I said, we're not perfect, but God has always got a plan for you. God is just finding the perfect time. You're going to be struggling, but God is there to help. But we can't expect God every time to help us. He has multiple people to be helping out. And I understand that. Sometimes I question God, why am I going through this? This is not who I am as a person. But God is trying to pick me because He wants me to be an inspiration to others. About if someone is like, hey, I know you went through this, what's your advice? You just gotta, it just depends on your mindset and about how you handle the situation. But thank you, God, for everything. Appreciate you. Not overthinking, obviously, with this one, I couldn't really come up with one for the 6th, to be honest. But overthinking is not good. It's normal to overthink sometimes in life, but it's not healthy. It's not good for our mental health. And if we are overthinking the situation, just go back to what goal to you or to us is more easier to handle than the other ones. That's what we got to realize. Journaling, obviously I talked about this one. If you completed a goal, cross it off. If you are satisfied with it and you completed it, then cross it off. The conclusion. Okay, we have the conclusion right here. Sorry about that, guys. Let me go back to the next. Sorry, guys. I messed up. Okay. I'm going to read these two right here. I don't know if you guys see that. I don't know if you guys can see this right here where the black is. I'm gonna read it to y'all. I'm gonna read it. The conclusion. Self-confidence helps us learn and grow. Trust yourself and stay positive. Journaling. If I had to pick between the three, these three are the most valid answers when it comes to self-confidence. It is true. How do you learn and grow as a person? Well, there's college, there's trade schools, but not everyone wants to go to college, not everyone wants to go to trade schools or get jobs. Everyone's different. Everyone has a career path. For example, I went to college and I dropped out of it because I didn't like it, but that's okay. That's who I am as a person. I don't like college, but one of my friends love college, and that's fine. I support my friends, I support my peers till the day I die. Because if they respect me, I respect the same way they do. The end. That's what I realized. Okay, so what this one, okay, let's talk about, well, before I end off the podcast, what self-confidence really teaches us is to have faith in life and to be grateful about what you have, because for example, billionaires, right? Everyone starts small, right? Everyone, like Michael Jordan, he got cut from his high school team, but then he became one of the greatest players. And then Shea Gilgeous-Alexander had that same situation. The thing is, you start from rock to bottom, from bottom to top. You start struggling in the beginning, but then you become successful later on. That's normal. Everyone has had a struggle. Everyone. It's not just us as humans. That just proves that life is hard. But you gotta work for self-confidence. You gotta really put in time and effort, is how this. It's like streaming. Streamers put a lot of effort into it, and basketball players, NBA players, they put a lot of effort into it. Well, that's really what I gotta say about my conclusion. But what I learned about self-confidence is that no matter how old you are, or as long as you give the same respect to others, then you will have the self-confidence. My role is to be an inspire to others like you guys. And it just means a lot when people tell me, hey, I like graphic designing because of you. I like podcasting and I did YouTube because of you. I will be honest. When people tell me that, this makes me want to actually podcast more, graphic design more, like just keep going and going, no matter what. I don't care about the fame. I don't care about the money. Genuinely, I want to do this because I love this and because I've got inspired by other podcasters, and I just think I have the confidence because I love speaking a lot. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. I know it was about like 36 minutes, but I will give you guys a heads up. If I do anything like this, it's going to be long, at least more than 15 minutes, but like 15-20 minutes. But if you guys enjoyed this podcast, I hope you guys did give a thumbs up and comment. I reply to all my comments. If you guys have any concerns, if you guys love it, drop down some podcast ideas. Someone told me to do Disney. I actually might do a Disneyland podcast. I'm doing a Harry Potter podcast for sure. Maybe next episode. I'll have to figure it out, guys. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next podcast episode. Alright, bye everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.